So I was thinking about how a lot of people chase after approval, and I realize it's not worth it because when you want approval from someone, oftentimes people will change what they're like in order to fit with the idea of what the other person who they're seeking approval from believes is acceptable. And you think, okay, maybe I'll just change myself like 5%, so I'm still 95% myself to, fit into that idea that the other person will accept. But then you constantly have to maintain your status almost like you're in a club. So you have to keep changing yourself. You have to keep making yourself fit into the criteria that the other person wants. And you keep doing it and it keeps changing and you keep changing. And it's not just 5%, it's 5% on top of 5% on top of 5% on top of 5%. And then you're less than 50% of your real self. And you feel trapped because if you want to go back to being your true self, then you're not gonna receive the acceptance or the approval of the other person anymore. And so you're constantly seeking approval, you're constantly changing yourself, and you don't feel good when you're not your true self. But in order to seek that approval, in order to receive that approval, you have to keep changing yourself. And so that in itself is also very stressful. So you're stressed simply to receive approval, but at the same time not being your true self, and you're feeling bad that way as well. And the temporary approval that you receive is never going to make up what you lack from being your true self. And it's difficult to start being your true self again because you feel like, you won't be approved, you won't be accepted for who you are. You lose your support, basically. You lose your support, and then you have self-doubts too, because you don't know if you can make it on your own or if you can be who you really want to be by yourself. There are a lot of naysayers. They say you have to be realistic, but to them, being negative means being realistic. It's not really being realistic. They just assume that the negative outlook is the realistic outlook. And I disagree with that. And I don't think it's worth chasing after other people's approval. Because you're never going to get all the approval you're seeking. And even if you do receive approval, it's not going to satisfy you in the way that being your true self would satisfy you. So as I was sitting here meditating under the willow tree, I wasn't pushing thoughts out of my mind. There were a lot coming to my mind. And I came to the realization that I should probably open up to people I care about first. I shouldn't expect them to try to open up to me. And the reason why I haven't been open up to people is because, of course, I'm afraid of rejection, of their judgment. But I realized, and even though before I thought it would be a good idea to open up first, lead by example, I realized just how important and effective it can be. And for some reason, with this realization, I kind of lost fear of judgment and of rejection. I don't know why. I think it's because sometimes you can hear something and you can kind of mentally understand it, but it kind of goes through you and it doesn't have any profound lasting effect within you until one day you finally get it. Oh, and then everything makes sense. And you feel like, oh, this is what I gotta do. And you have that resolve all of a sudden. And me being here, for some reason, I just got the resolve. I feel like now, not only do I know that taking the lead and being the example to open up first is a good idea, but I have the ability to. I have the confidence within myself and of myself that I can do this without fearing what other people will think. And I plan on doing this probably one-on-one at first, but I see this as something that's potentially very, very good. Not only because it will allow me to fearlessly be my true self in front of others, in front of people that I find or I think of as important, but this could potentially help them open up or allow themselves to be more of them true, allow them to be more of their true selves, at least around me. And if I'm an important person to them, then that's a good place to start, right? With someone they feel comfortable around, right? With someone who's already opened up and with someone who's already opened up and has been vulnerable. So I think I'm gonna do that. Thank you, Willow Tree. Beautiful day. Autumn leaves. I'm gonna go check those out soon. The yellow and the red. I can't see it very well, but yeah, the red and the yellow leaves. Very beautiful. Thank you, nature. Thank you, Willow.